Well, today is the week, and technically I think today is the Shemitah, Elul 29. So this week could be interesting. Now keep in mind, not one single date in any movie is today's date or any date this week, as a matter of fact. But instead, 9/23. We're still not so sure why 9/23 is the big date for whatever the elite have planned, if anything, we should say. Only market that's really down, it's the pre-market over here, but only market that's down right now is Japan by about 1.63%. Dow, S&P are just a hair up in the pre-market, and it remains to be seen what shall happen today. Because when the elite want the markets to crash, they do it when they feel like doing it, how they want to do it, etc. So here we are. It's Monday. It's technically the Shemitah day. Remains to be seen what happens. It's today I'm trying to think, 'cause I remember seeing 14th and 13th, Sunday, yeah. Today should be that day. Now, having said that, as Jonathan Kahn pointed out multiple times, most of the time, market crashes and big events happen on the day of the Shemitah. But he did notice sometimes it's not exactly on the day of the Shemitah. Sometimes it's a month or two early, a month or two later, whatever, what have you. But most of the time, it's spot on. So it does make you wonder, as many people, as much as this information is now out on the internet, and there are millions of people who know about this date now, is the club gonna really do it on the exact date? We'll find out today. We're absolutely going to find out today. But once again, if we look at like what Lindsey Williams said to look at the movies. They will tell you what they're going to do in the movies. That's their favorite thing to do. So we look at the movies. Ain't no date around 9/13, 9/14, 9/15, none of that. It's 9/23. September 23rd is the date that is so much in your face in the movies. And that's really, a date that I think I'm going to be looking for more than any other date, and have been thus far. But keeping in mind, Lindsey Williams did say, September, October time frame. He's been saying that for a long time. And only recently, and I think in his last video or DVD he did, he said basically things you need to have done or get done before September 15th. And he didn't say exactly why September 15th. He just said things to get done before September 15th. Get your food storage, basically get all your preparations in order. And the interesting thing, as I mentioned the other day, was that he, on his website, he posted, or his webmaster, I should say, posted for him, that he was leaving to go to Mexico, but it was like for health purposes, because first of all, anytime he goes to Mexico, it's for, he's going to be visiting that doctor that he's mentioned in at least 2 or 3 of his latest DVDs, down in, I think, in Tijuana or whatever. And, some health reason he went down there, naturally. So my question was, well, if he's not allowed to really say why he's leaving and had to hint or let everybody know, he done left. what a perfect way to say it is, oh, I'm going down to my doctor friend down in Mexico for a couple of weeks. And those couple of weeks just so happened to be last week and this week. And who knows how long he's staying. Oh, man. So we can only wait and see. And if nothing at all happens this week, don't think for 1 second that all of a sudden all is clear. Oh, the Shemitah date is come and gone, all's good, 9/23 won't be anything either, and the rest of the month and next month, everything will be fine. If anything, the elite can push their little dates back slightly, just a tiny bit. Just enough to make them or the market crash say, oh, we told you so. You people thought you were going to be able to pinpoint our dates and tell all your friends and everybody on Facebook and on YouTube. The whole week went by, nothing happened. You guys are wrong, have a nice day. And then 2 weeks later, boom, here it is. Just enough for them to say it didn't happen exactly when they thought. At the same time, these people, these elitists, they are very bold, especially nowadays. I don't think they care. I don't think that they care that some of us know, many of us, I should say, know. They probably, like Lindsay said a while back, they're doing this because they already feel like we got this. This is already a done deal. There's nothing anybody's going to do now to stop us. That's what Lindsay said a while back. That's how they feel right now. We got this. Ain't nothing none of y'all gonna do to stop us at this point. We got everything in place we need to have in place. It's gonna happen when we want it to happen. So if that's the case, why would they need to push this out any length of time? I don't think they will. All we know is they're gonna do it when they want to do it, and all signs point to this month for sure. Whether some big crash or market dump's gonna happen today, tomorrow, this week, honestly, anybody's guess. But I know I'm not playing in that market, and I will tell you this. I'm trying to think if I mentioned this the other day, but I don't think I did. I actually thought about getting into the market after the crash happens, and only on some specific types of shares of companies which are in the gold and silver mining industry, whether it's which I should say, there's a couple of, I think, maybe one major miner, and then I think a couple of junior miners, and then there's one exploration company, and I believe that exploration company, I want to say, is traded on the Canadian or Toronto stock market. But I was listening to an interview from the Dollar Vigilante, and this guy's got a good head on his shoulders. He was one of the only people at the time, one of a few, when Bitcoin was $3 per Bitcoin, saying, everyone, I highly suggest you get into this. I didn't know him back then, and back then I didn't even trust Bitcoin as far as I could throw it, digitally speaking. It turned out to do phenomenally well. And then it crashed back down, and today it's around 250, 260. It was up to 300 just recently. It's back down to 250, 260. Even that price, could you imagine paying $3 for a Bitcoin and then unloading it today for 250? And you had, 5, 6, 700 of these things. Could you imagine that? You would be having yourself a nice little fortune. So he's been talking about getting, looking into the, junior miners and some of the exploration companies. So I started doing a little research, and sure enough, I found some of these companies that when times were good, when precious metals were, put it this way, when they hit their little peaks in 2011, gold was around 1900, silver was around $50. These companies I'm telling you about, shares, one in particular, I think it was the Canadian mining exploration company, I want to say. It was either them or one of the junior miners. It might have been one of the junior miners. And it was worth like $7.21 a share, this company. Today, I want to say this one company is worth like 32 cents a share. Knowing what you know is going to happen with precious metals ultimately, can you imagine if this company went back just to $7 and whatever it was, 21 cents? And the other companies are very, very similar. One was $5 and some change. It's sitting at like 19 cents. Two other ones were, I think, $20 or $21, somewhere around there. They're worth $1.50 today, $1.40 a share. And if gold goes to 1900 and beyond, then that company's shares should go past $20, $21 and beyond. The 30-something cent per share should go way past $7. Talk about a little small fortune you can make yourself in the market. These are huge gains that can be made, and they're being the mining companies, anything attached to gold and silver right now, are absolutely being crushed. So my biggest concern about getting in the market right now on those, specifically those and only those, is that what if the big crash comes here shortly, that 30 cents a share goes down to 5 cents a share, 3 cents a share, the $1.20 a share goes down to whatever, 20 cents, who knows. And then those companies say we're restructuring bankruptcy, and you already got into your shares. I spent $1,000 on that one, $500 on that one. That's all I wanted to play in the game, right? In case you lose $1,500, not a big deal. Oh, but they just filed for bankruptcy. Your shares are worth nothing now. So I feel like I wouldn't touch those even after a market crash and say, okay, now let's get in. Not yet, in case they file for bankruptcy. You don't want to get left with nothing. Or in case there's a merger, acquisition, buyout, etc. Some of the big mines buy the small mines, and there's a fee they pay per share for everybody, and then they give you this, essentially what you just got in the market for, maybe a tiny bit more per share. And then here's your little tiny payday. Or again, if they go file for bankruptcy, well, restructuring, not necessarily like gone bankruptcy, just restructuring. So I felt like I'm going to watch those, those particular companies and that industry, let's say, mining companies, exploration companies, where it's the juniors and the majors, and just kind of watch. I mean, if a good amount of time goes by, the big market crash happens, their stocks get, their shares get hit, and I'm thinking, man, it's a good time to buy, but I'm still going to wait. Follow any news, see anything on their websites, corporate news, whatever, anything happening here? No. Gold and silver, have they started their rise yet? No. Well, in that case, I think I'll wait. The other thing that I don't know how this will, could potentially happen with those shares is what if, let's just say collapse of the economies and the stock markets across the world really takes place. They get hit massively, just as we were expecting, etc. And then gold and silver do their thing and they start to jump up rapidly. Are those mining company shares going to immediately follow what gold and silver is going to do rapidly? Based off of the charts that I see, gold and silver and these mining companies kind of follow each other hand in hand. So the answer is yes, they could spike. So once again, you're in that one place of, well, do I wait too long and lose out on some of that, or do I just get it when they're low, take a chance? Are they going to file for bankruptcy, restructuring? Well, the thing is, if you choose 3, 4, or 5 of these companies, all of these companies have seen major destruction in the price of their shares. So if you, again, spread your money around to several of these and not just 2 or 3, let's say there's 5 or 6. Are all 5 or 6 of these companies going to restructure bankruptcy, or are all 5 or 6 going to just go bankrupt completely and close the doors? Or a merger, right? I mean, that's not likely, but mergers and acquisitions right now in today's age, as in the recent history, have been significantly high. And not just mining, I'm talking about across the board everywhere. Matter of fact, not really mining, but just companies around the country, even around the globe, usually bigger ones, but it's the bigger ones buying the smaller ones. There's been some major acquisitions. Once again, the elite are doing this. They're the ones who got all the free money and the banking money, and they, 0% interest basically from the Fed. We do what we want with the money. And they went out like anyone who just won the lottery and just buying up all kinds of stuff. Well, why just sit on the money? Let me invest and do some things with it. So what remains to be seen is what's going to happen with these mining companies. At the same time, if you say, well, I've got $1,000 laying around, $1,000, and personally, that's what I thought to myself. I think I'd like to take $1,000 and just spread it around, a few of these companies. Even right now, the price is so low. It's like when you saw where they were in 2011, you'd make a little fortune if they just went back there per share. Yes, you're going to have to pay taxes. Yes, you're going to have to report that income, which is good about gold and silver because you don't. But still, if the upside is massive, why not try to capitalize on that? So I'm going to watch those. And I will tell you this. When I go to make that move, I'm going to tell you exactly which mining companies and the exploration company I had in mind that I'm going to put my money in. And I felt like I'm going to take $1,000. Again, win, lose, or draw. If I lost and they restructured or whatever happened, it's $1,000. It's not the end of the world. I still have my hard silver, right? I got my hard assets, silver. It's safe. It's not going anywhere. It's not going to... If I lose the $1,000, my silver automatically doesn't leave my safe. No, it's still sitting there. So that's still there. That's my little safety net, whatever you want to call it. Take $1,000 out and just boop. Let's see where it goes. So when I do make that move, and I think I'm going to, I just feel like even though they've been slaughtered already, the market crash hasn't happened. We know this. And they've been slaughtered for a while now. So naturally, when a market crash occurs, everybody's going to sell everything they have, like they always do, which means these mining companies and this exploration company are probably not going to be immune to that, and they've got some more downside to come. So imagine if this 30-something cent a share that was $7 and I think 21 cents on its high becomes 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cents. And then I say, hey, everybody, I'm going in. Here's what I'm getting. This one's 10 cents. It used to be 30. This was $1.20. It's now 50 cents. Blah, blah, blah. And then you see them to go back to even 20 bucks again. Those ones that were $1.20 or 50 or whatever it was. And now they're 50 cents, let's say. That's like a 40 times increase. 40 times increase in the price. If it was 50 cents and it was 20, right? And then it goes to 40. It's actually more, it's 40%. Put it this way. If it's 50 cents and it goes up to $40, it doesn't matter what it was before. That's like a 80 times increase. Imagine taking $1,000 and you're able to get 80 times return. $80,000 in a scenario like I just mentioned. I don't see that being absurd when you know where the price of precious metals are going to go. When they were already, this particular stock was $21, 21 bucks on its high. That's $1,900 gold. And what happens when gold skyrockets past that? This company's shares will skyrocket past that, $21. And the other one that was $7, 21 cents or whatever, it's going to skyrocket past that. It's available now for like 30 something, I think 32, 33 cents. Last time I looked, which was last week, several days ago. I'm still not going in yet because the market crash hasn't happened. And if the market crash happens and then these companies decide, oh, our shares are so low, we're just going to restructure, or we're going to sell off to a bigger company, I don't want to be in on these shares even though the price looks good right now when that happens. Some of these companies have been around for quite a while. Some of them have been around for over 10 years. Some of them have been around for 30, 40 years. So that's good to know, and I haven't seen any restructuring, bankruptcy, anything like that in the past. So that makes you say, well, even with the big crash coming, why would they do it now? And they may not. Again, we can't have our cake and eat it too. We don't know everything. If we did, we'd all be rich. We'd all be playing markets perfectly. Not that I even care about playing any market, really. But in this scenario, it's attached to gold and silver. Man, that could be a real good move. And again, you just take a little bit of cash on the side. You know, well, let me throw $1,000 over here. See what happens. You know, spread it around a little bit between some of these companies. So, again, when that happens, I will let you know. Take care.